Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful Upper Lake Taneycomo, we're still on Upper Lake Taneycomo. I'm actually pulled down here to the Branson Landing. I am just here in front of the Paddle Wheel restaurant, and this is where we're going to do the one cast today. It's been a long time since I came down here and fished, and today I brought two different rods. I brought a rod with a 1/32 ounce jig. Water's still turned off for the moment. They're not turning it on until 2 o'clock today. It's roughly 1:30 in the afternoon, and I have my fly rod here, and I've got a size 16 black zebra midge on, and I have a pink power worm. I got some reports from a couple guys that fished the tournament yesterday that they got into some fish down here around the Branson Landing using the pink power worm, and so I figured I'd come down here and give it a try. I'm gonna set this about roughly 10 foot deep, and I'm gonna start off with the power worm. The boat's, I've got it spot locked. There's a little bit of wind blowing right now, so this might have to keep spinning the camera. Oh my. I'm hooking all kinds of fun stuff here already. There is quite a bit of trash in the water. Okay, let's see if I can get a cast out there without landing on something. Today is the 23rd of August, and it is Sunday. So this little pocket right here in front of the paddle wheel is a little deep pocket after a flat. It's right over here next to the boat ramp, and it generally holds some fish. This is a good method to do if you're looking to just catch some fish, and kind of regardless of the time of day. I got something you want to look for when the water's not running is chop. So there's some chop out here on the water. The wind's blowing just enough to riffle the top of the water, and so that's something you want to look for when you're finding a spot out here. And nothing on the first cast. Trying to find spots where there's a lot of grass out here. Like I said, water's about 12 foot deep where I'm setting right now, so I've got it set at about 10 foot. Get it down there where those fish should be at. And I already had the black zebra midge tied up on here, and there's still a chance they could hit that too, so. A few guides came back in this morning. They were all throwing night crawlers filled with air, and they all came back with some nice stringers. take the boat off spot lock. I'm going to move just a little bit closer here to the boat ramp. You still want to, even with the chop on the water, you still want to move that bait around, you know, wiggle the bobber, reel it in a little bit, wiggle it. The chop helps to them not be able to see what you're doing up on top of the water. And if you're struggling finding fish in this spot, you just kind of keep changing either the length of the pink power worm, either shorter or longer, or you change your depth of your lure. Captain Buster Loving came in earlier with a really nice set of fish for his customers. Had some 18 and 19 inch rainbows they caught. I believe that he was using night crawlers. That sun is brutal today. Other things that work down, you know, that I know work down here in this area that we're fishing are like little Cleos, those Castmaster spoons. I imagine rooster tails too. And then marabou jigs are all pretty good choices down here. The lake is a lot less busy today than it was yesterday. I don't have a piece of split shot on there today, though I probably could just to keep it straight up and down. I'm going to make just a little adjustment, and I'm going to actually shorten my leader just a little bit. I might have just a little too much, so I like to adjust about a foot at a time. And we'll try just making that small adjustment and see if I start getting more bites. I was looking down for the foot pedal and forgot that this boat doesn't have one. I'm actually seeing some fish surfacing out here a little bit outside of the pocket that I wanted to fish in, but we'll go over there and throw at the fish that are surfacing here. Maybe I get away from some of these weeds. I think that one qualifies as over 20 inches though, for sure. Get out here on the edge of this trash line here. So last night, a big group of friends of mine and Dwayne's, Mike Riffle and Cal and Jack Roy and everybody went out night fishing last night, and the Signature Series was producing. They caught a 28-inch, Cal caught a 28-inch brown last night on the French Pearl. I don't know what Jack was using when he caught his fish, but he caught a 25-inch brown, and there were multiple other browns caught and a 20-inch rainbow. And, well, actually, from what I hear, Jack and them stayed out until like 4 o'clock in the morning and caught a bunch more rainbows, anywhere from the 20 to 23-inch mark. So really cool. I know the other day I talked about how I thought maybe the browns were starting to move upstream, kind of getting ready for the mating run, and it would certainly seem that way after last night. Lots of fish. So far, I am not having any bites here. Could be because I don't come down here and fish enough to know all the exact spots. I know that spot I started in is a good one. However, there was a lot of weeds over there, and I was just having trouble getting my fly line to sink down through them. I'm not sure exactly how deep the water is here, but I might need to set the indicator deeper again now, because I am not stuck back in that little pocket anymore. I'm back out here on the main body of water. So I'm gonna try that. Try sinking her down a little farther again. I tie my leaders up pretty long because I do a lot of scud fishing when the water's running heavy, and sometimes you gotta use quite a bit of leader to get them down there. I think I'm going to take the boat and we're going to go in behind. There's a little pocket here behind this dock, between this dock and the White River Fish House restaurant. And we'll just go over here behind there and try real quick. Oh no. Darn it. Tell you what, not having to use that foot pedal is pretty nice sometimes. Alright, so in between this dock and this building here, and then on the other side of the White River Fish House building, kind of creates a big eddy back there. These are all good spots to come fish down here at the landing. I don't see quite as much trash built up over here. I think I mentioned it the other day, but you want to make sure that that pink power worm is directly underneath that jig head and that it hasn't fallen down any, because they do not like eating it if it is not directly hanging off of that. Kind of just picking and choosing my spots and dropping the bobber down in the areas that I can see are clear. A good amount of moss here as well. Now here's something cool to see. So I'm pretty sure this guy's a local here in Branson. but he's got a car that he can drive straight into the water right off the boat ramp. And I've seen him down here quite a few times, but I don't think I've ever caught it on the one cast camera. Got his captain's hat on and everything. Alright. Well, so far the fly rod is failing me here. I guess I need to get down here and practice fishing around the landing a little more. I'm going to take a couple more casts and I'm going to give up on this, and I'm going to throw a jig here in a second. I thought for sure I'd catch a couple down here on the pink power worm, but I'm probably just not doing it right. Try setting it a little deeper one more time, and I'm switching over. I bet that guy gets a lot of attention when he goes driving straight into the lake at the boat ramp. Well, I'm picking up a lot of moss here. Scuds are still a really good choice, especially once the water turns on. Phil and I took a group of golfers out last night, and we drug scuds up in the trophy area from Point Lookout down through the Narrows, kind of back to Fall Creek, and we probably caught 15 or 20 fish in a few hours. And one of those fish was a 23-inch rainbow. Really pretty big fish, and I think we had one more that was roughly 19 inches. Those were the big fish for yesterday evening, but that was only in a few hours, and so the scud bite was pretty good. You just gotta make sure it's bumping the bottom properly. We were using spin cast rods and drift rigs for that. And I think I'm done with the fly rod here. My pink worm's also not staying locked in. That's where the super glue would come in handy. And I'll throw a jig a couple times, then I gotta call it a day. This is a 1/32 ounce tri-olive jig. You gotta work these a little slower. I have a feeling I'm gonna have the same problem here with this. My 2-pound test is gonna get caught up in this floating moss and stuff, and it's gonna get transferred down to the jig. I'm just carefully watching my line as it sinks each time I pop it. I'm looking for any inconsistency in the way it sinks. Either slack line really fast or move left or right. Those are all indicators that there's a fish playing with it or a fish has got it. But that throwing the 1/32 ounce jig, 2-pound line is pretty much essential. Get it to cast out there. I think for the most part, the 1/32 ounce jig's probably one of the best jigs to use whenever the water's turned off. However, there are days when the water's turned off and they like that jig sinking just a little faster. Like yesterday fishing the tournament, I caught a couple on the 1/32. Cal put on a 3/32 and they were actually hitting the 3/32 better. And they were both, you know, sculpin jigs, so I think it was more about the speed that the jig was falling at. I'm starting to think I should have filled up some night crawlers with air here. When you're fishing deep water like I am right now, that 16th ounce is good too because it's got a long ways to fall, kind of get down where the fish are at. Ooh, I forgot that thing was turned up on high speed. I'm gonna go in right behind the building here, take a couple last casts. See if I can pick up a trout laying next to the back side of this restaurant here. I will say that the tri-olive jig is a really good choice whenever you have high bright sun. I don't know exactly why that is, but they seem to really like it. Yeah, water's really clear of debris right here. Might have been where I should have threw the fly rod at. I believe that they have turned the water on. I'm starting to see stuff drifting past me here. You can still come down here when the water's running and use that pink power worm method under a float. You just need to add split shot to your line to keep it straight up and down. Really not sure how deep it is right here. Oh, he was running with my line and I was staring off in the distance. Alright, I finally reached the bottom there. There's a fish. Yeah, I just had to get it all the way to the bottom there. Okay, let's try a couple more casts. I was going to make that my last one, but I think I figured something out here. We just got to let that thing sink all the way down there. I just wasn't being patient enough. I'm even going to jig it not quite as hard. Try not to bring it off the bottom quite as much. So that could have been the problem with the pink power worm. I just may not have had it set deep enough here. It is a pretty hot, sunshiny day with bluebird skies. The sun is beaming down pretty hard. That's something you can do when you're fishing jigs. You just play around with how long you let them sink and how hard you pop it, how many times you pop it. All those little things can make differences. You still want to leave that slack in your line though to give that jig free room to sink back down again. Sinks a lot slower whenever you don't have that slack for it to freely move down. All right. Last cast, sun is starting to bake me. Throw one right up against the building there. Okay, well, I tried my hand at it today. Fish beat me today. Well, we thank you guys for watching. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll do it again tomorrow.